Right, so Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh, and a very good day everyone. Alhamdulillah, we managed to set up our webinar, MEIPTA webinar, series 1 on iOER made easy. Assalamualaikum and a very good day everyone, and to all of the participants. I'm sure later on will be more participants who are joining in. Okay, so basically MEIPTA webinar series iOER made easy with the theme Creative Tips and Tricks for Converting Digital Resources into Open Access Learning Materials. Today, actually, we are very honored to have our two panelists. Our first panelist is TS Erny Ahmad from Universiti Teknologi UiTM. How are you, TS Erny Arniza?
Alhamdulillah, good, thank you.
Very good. And also our second panelist, all the way from Borneo Island, Associate Professor Dr. Cheng from Universiti Malaysia, Sarawak, UNIMAS. I hope you're doing good, yeah, Dr. Julia?
Thank you. Yes, thank you very much.
Alhamdulillah. All right. So also we have here MEIPTA Chairman, Dr. Mohd Hafiz Abu Hassan. Thank you, Dr. Hafiz, for your time to be with us, besides your busy schedule, yeah, Dr. Hafiz? Thank you very much.
Thanks, AP Dr. Doria for having me today.
Yes. Okay, so also thank you all to the participants in the webinar. Thank you very much, for all of your commitment and also time to be with us in the MEIPTA webinar series, iOER Made Easy. It is my pleasure to be the moderator for today's webinar. I'm Doria Islamiah Rosli from Universiti of Malaysia. To begin our webinar session, I would like to invite our MEIPTA Chairman to give welcoming remarks to our panelists and also to all of the participants of our MEIPTA webinar series 1, iOER Made Easy. Please welcome Dr. Hafiz.
Okay, thanks AP Dr. Doria. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Rabbi shrah li sadri wa yassir li amri wahlul 'uqdatam min lisani yafqahu qawli. Allahumma ij'al jam'ana hadza jam'an marhuma wa tafarruqana min ba'dihi tafarruqan ma'suma wa la taj'al fina wa la ma'ana shakiyyan wa la mahruma. Distinguished guests, fellow educators and esteemed colleagues, good morning and a very warm welcome to everyone joining us today. On behalf of the Majlis Ketua-Ketua E-Pembelajaran IPTA Malaysia MEIPTA, it is my absolute privilege to welcome you to this webinar. First and foremost, I would like to express our heartfelt gratitude to our co-organizers from Universiti Tun Hussein on Malaysia, UTHM, specifically APTS Dr. Doria Islamiah binti Rosli and Mr. Hemi bin Abdul Jalal. Thanks for your tireless dedication, meticulous planning and hard work in making this event a reality. We also extend our sincere appreciation to Academic Excellence Division BKA JPT for providing the vital funding and continuous support that empowers us to drive this national level academic initiative forward. For those who have been walking this journey with us, you know that MEIPTA plays a critical role in coordinating and empowering e-learning at the national level. Our ecosystem spans across a diverse and vibrant network of higher education institutions, including 20 public universities across Malaysia, the Jabatan Pendidikan Tinggi, Polytechnic and College Community JPPKK, MARA institutions, government-linked universities, namely MMU, UTP, UniKL and also UniTM. Together, we are continuously pushing boundaries of digital education. Our focus remains steadfast on advancing online teaching and learning pedagogy, alternative assessment, micro-credential, which later on will support stackable degree under magnetic, MOOCs, blended learning and hybrid classroom, ensuring our institution remain agile and future ready. Okay, as we look to the future, today's session holds immense strategic value. This webinar is perfectly aligned with the newly launched Rancangan Pendidikan Tinggi Malaysia RPTM 2026 until 2035, specifically under Shift 8, Pendidikan Fleksibel and Pembelajaran Sepanjang Hayat or Flexible Education and Lifelong Learning. To truly operationalize this shift, I am thrilled to share that a comprehensive National Action Plan on Inclusive Open Educational Resources or iOER is currently under final review by GPT. Once published to the public, this landmark plan will fundamentally touch upon the development of inclusive open textbooks and democratized digital resources, ensuring that quality education leaves no learner behind. Okay, today's session is practical step toward that inclusive future, specifically designed for educators, trainees, academic staff, and beginners. This webinar focuses on a low barrier, highly practical approach to open educational resources. Our objective today is simple: to show you how to easily transform your existing digital teaching materials into accessible, shareable open learning resources. Using commonly available digital tools, you will discover how to quickly develop beginner-friendly OERs ranging from lecture notes and presentation slides to infographic, quizzes, worksheets, short educational videos, study guides, and so on. To guide us through this transformative journey, please join me. Please also we all of us can say thanks to our panelists for today, technologist Erny, Arniza Ahmad from UiTM, AP Dr. Julia Lee Cheng from UNIMAS. Thank you for sharing your time, expertise, and insight with us today. Finally, to all our participants, thank you for your commitment to continuous learning and for your dedication to our students. I am confident that today's session will provide you with the practical tools needed to innovate your teaching spaces. Without further ado, I wish you all a highly productive, inspiring, and insightful webinar. Thank you. Wabillahi taufiq wa hidayah. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Thank you very much, Dr. Hafiz, for your welcoming remarks. And I'm sure this is also one of the initiatives that MEIPTA members really looking forward to, for us to contribute and also for us to embark and also for us to create more iOER content for others. All right. Okay, so to begin this webinar, allow me to read a brief biography of our panelists. So our first panelist, T.S. Erny Arniza, is actually a senior lecturer at the Faculty of Computer and Mathematical Sciences at the Universiti Teknologi Mara, UiTM. With more than 20 years of academic and also professional experiences in computer science, digital education technology, and also inclusive learning innovation. Her work actually spans teaching, curriculum development, research, policy contribution, training module, and also award-winning innovation projects with strong emphasis on computing technology and also future-ready digital pedagogy. She is an award-winning educator, certified trainer, panel auditor, and also active mentor who continues to drive teaching innovation, inclusive education, and also digital learning transformation in higher education. Right, for our second panelist, Associate Professor Dr. Julia Lee Cheng. Dr. Julia Cheng is actually an Associate Professor and the Director of the Child and Adolescent Learning and Wellbeing Center at the Faculty of Cognitive Sciences and Human Development at the Universiti Malaysia, Sarawak, UNIMAS. Her research interests include reading development and intervention among young children with developmental disorders such as dyslexia, autism, spectrum disorder, and also specific language impairment. She is also interested in technology-enabled solutions for reading, assessments, and also intervention. All right. So for your information, the webinar session will take around 40 to 45 minutes for every speaker and followed with short question and also answer session from the participants. I think most of the participants can actually get ready for the questions later on, yeah? So, okay, without further ado, I would like to invite our first panelist, T.S. Erny Arniza Ahmad, on her topic on engineering, inclusive open educational resources for quality education. Please welcome T.S. Erny Arniza. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Associate Professor, Technologist Dr. Doria, for the introduction. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good morning, everyone. Okay, let me share the slide first. Okay. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Alhamdulillahirrahmanirrahim. Wassalatu wassalamu ala asyrafil anbiya'i wal mursalin wa ala alihi washabihi ajma'in. Rabbi shrah li sadri wa yassir li amri wahlul 'uqdatam min lisani yafqahu qawli. Okay. Right. So I'm Erny Arniza binti Ahmad from the Faculty of Computer and Mathematical Sciences, UiTM Shah. And today I will be sharing on the topic of engineering iOER for quality education. So the main idea for the presentation today is simple. Okay, so we know that education resources should be open. Okay, and they also is actually need to be accessible, inclusive, reusable, and meaningful for different types of learner. So because in many institutions, okay, we already have many digital materials. Okay, we as a lecturer, we produce every day lots of digital materials. Okay, as for the advancements of the technology, AI, generative tools, so we keep on generating more and more digital materials, which including the slides, the PDF files, the video, and nowadays, okay, everyone can code. So you can develop website, web pages, okay, and then we develop notes, tutorials, online quizzes, and so on. Okay, but then the most important question here is, can all learners really access and use them effectively? So that is the main question. And that is where, okay, the iOER comes in. So iOER is actually stand for Inclusive Open Educational Resources. Okay, and it combines the openness of the OER with the accessibility, inclusive design, and also the systematic development. So throughout the session, I want us to think beyond simply uploading the materials online, but we need to also to ask one question: are our resources designed, okay, to work for every learner? So that is the main question for today. Right. Yeah. Okay. Right. So these are all the learning outcomes. Okay. So by the end of the sessions, there are 4 things that I hope every participants will be able to do. So first, okay, you should be able to understand the significance of iOER. So this means, you know why iOER matters and what learning gaps it tries to address. And then secondly, you should be able to apply an inclusive lens. So this means that connecting all the 5 R's, okay, of the openness with the accessibility and the learner diversity. So third, you should be able to use a framework. So we will look into how iOER development can move from the need assessment to design to testing and finally to improve. Okay, and then finally, the 4th outcomes is that you should be able to plan for the implementation. So this includes identifying suitable tools, okay, and also the quality assurance indicators or practices. So basically, the session is not only about the definition of iOER. So it is about understanding how iOER can be designed, checked, improved, and sustained. So that's what most important, okay? Right. Okay, so this is the roadmap for our 45 minutes. Okay, hopefully we can meet with the times allocated, right? So it's actually, we will move into 6 parts. Okay, so the first one will begin with why iOER matters. Okay, secondly, and then we will revisit, okay, the foundation of OER. Okay, then only we move into from OER to iOER and explain why open resources are not automatically inclusive. Okay, then we will discuss on the engineering framework, okay, which help us to develop iOER systematically. Okay, and then definitely after that we will look into some examples, okay, and also the quality indicators. And finally, we'll close with the synthesis of the key message. So the flow is intentional, okay? So we start with the problem, okay, and then we build up the concept, okay, and then finally we move into the practical examples. Okay, right. So we move with the first one, okay? Okay, so the first part is to understand why iOER matters. Okay, because I know everyone is asking why iOER. Okay, last time OER, and nowadays, okay, there's new terms turning in. Okay, SIM, okay, for ODL. Okay, so what made those things different? Okay, dia ada yang sama, ada yang tak sama. Okay, sama tapi tak super. So that's why here, okay, we need to know why iOER matters. Okay, that will be the main objective of the session, right? Okay, we need to understand the why first. Okay. Right, so again, like what I've said earlier, so many resources almost work for students. Okay, but then some of it, or we can say most of it also fail because of one barrier. Okay, one barrier. So what is the barrier? Okay, so the barriers, okay, may look small because we will discuss the barrier later on. So these barriers, okay, may actually look small, okay, but some learners, okay, these become the main reason why they cannot participate fully. Okay, so first thing first, we will begin by thinking about the barriers. So here I need your participation. So I need your help. Okay, so this is the first activity, name one barrier, but not to worry because I'm not going to collect, but then definitely we need to share the feedback lah. Okay, right, so okay, in within 60 seconds, okay, only 1 minute, 30 to 60 seconds, I want you to think of, okay, I want you to think of one resources, okay, that you feel almost work for you, but at the end feel, okay, to the students. Okay, right. So ask your student, ask yourself, okay, so what learning resource that almost worked for you, okay, but then did not at the end? Think of one learning resources, your lecture slides, maybe your video, okay, your what I call that, maybe assessment. Okay, you feel that okay dah ni. Okay, so the student may enjoy it, but then at the end, oops, okay, we see the levels of participation is very poor. Okay, what's wrong with that? Okay, done. You get your one learning resources. Okay, one learning resource. Just think of one. Okay, right now after that, okay, what blocked the access? Okay, why it fails to the end? Why it fails? Okay, right? You just write to yourself. Keep it to yourself. I'm not going to collect. Okay, because we want to discuss. Right? Or shall we share? Okay, hold on. Let me see. Where's my okay? Right. Maybe you can share it in the chat area so that we can see, are we having the same common problems or barrier? See what make it fail at the end.
Lots of constraint, I think, on the way of for us to complete the task.
Okay, so the constraint. Why? What are those constraints? Is it because the file was too large? Is it because of the language? Or because of video itself? Nowadays, you can use notebook LM, right? So you just create a video at the blink of eyes, okay? But then still, it cannot capture, it can't engage with the students. What's wrong with that? The syllabus, the infographic, at the end, students still ask, is it like this? Is it like that? But the info is in the infographic. Okay, right? So it's common problem, right? So what else? The syllabus. Okay, don't comment about that. Nanti kena marah. Okay, what else? Is it because of the instructions was not clear? Right? Or, okay, just now, Dr. Father said because of the infographic. Okay, is it because of the layout might confuse the students? Okay, we feel that we have come up with the infographic to ease them to understand the concept, right? Okay, but then maybe because of the layout. So have you think about that? What else? What are other problems? So these are the common problems that we face every day. Okay, so not to worry. Okay, we face the same problem. So these you can say that common problems, right? Okay, right. Thank you for the feedback. Okay, and the rest tak apa. So keep it to yourself. Okay, because we will discuss on that later on. Okay, so it's actually right. The most important things that we need to know, okay, maybe the failures, okay, is not because of the learners. We almost say, okay, student ni tak faham lah, so cerita macam ni pun tak ni kan. So we are prepared everything, but then still yet, okay, they cannot still understand. So we keep on blaming the students, okay. But then it's actually, we never realize that the failure also come from us, okay, because we fail to design the materials. Okay, so we can say that these are the design failures. So definitely when the student cannot access the resource, okay, the first question should not be what's wrong with the student. Okay, but then the better, but then yeah, still, okay, some of the mistakes can still come from them lah. Okay, but then the better question is actually what barrier did the resource create? Okay, what barrier did the resource that we have created avoid them from joining, from understanding the content, understanding the materials? Okay, so that is the starting point of the iOER thinking. Okay, right. Okay, so now before we move to the iOER concept, so this is like a quick recap lah. Okay, so we'll look into the foundation of OER. Okay, so I believe that most of us, okay, we think that many people think that OER just simply free materials online, because of the terms OER, open educational resources. So we thought that the free materials, okay, that can be accessible online for free, okay, that is OER. But then that is not really accurate. So now we need to understand, to make clear, the concept of OER first, okay, then only we can move to iOER. Okay, so but then here, yes, okay, the free access part is true, but then that is only one part of it. Okay, so the more important part is the open licensing and the legal permission, okay, to the 5 R's of OER. Okay, so in the next section, okay, we will clarify what OER really means. Okay, so this is the definition, okay, from UNESCO, right? Okay, so it's a very long explanation, very long definition of OER. Okay, but then the left part here, I have synthesized, okay, the meaning of OER to make everyone clear about that. Okay, so OER, or open education resources, referring to the teaching, learning, or assessment materials, okay, right, that are free to access and openly licensed. Okay, right, so all materials, okay, it's not only from us, the teaching materials, okay, we thought we take it as a teaching materials, okay, but then for the student, it is referring to as their learning materials. Okay, so our teaching materials is actually the learning materials for the students. Okay, so teaching materials, learning materials, and also assessment materials, okay, those are part of OER provided it meet these 2 criteria. So first, free to access, and secondly, openly licensed. Okay, right. So what does it mean? So the first one is free access, so meaning that learners can reach the resource without price barriers. They don't have to pay, okay, for the materials. Okay, done. Free. Yes, free materials can be accessible online. Okay, done. The one is the first, what you call that, attributes. Okay. Okay. And then the second one, so this is the most important part. Okay, to make it sure that it is an online or an OER, or it is just a digital material which is uploaded online. Okay, so open license. Okay, open license means, okay, it will let the others, okay, doesn't matter whether the lecturers or educators or students, okay, from everywhere, from anywhere, okay, right, to legally, so that's the terms, legally reuse, adapt, and also share the resources. Okay, so that is openly licensed. Okay, the permission. Okay, the permission. Permission to reuse, to adapt, and to share the resource. The resource that we created, the resource that we share. So we give the permission, okay, for others, okay, to use, to download, okay, and then to change the content, okay, and then they use the content and then they share, okay, with others, with their students. So that is when you fulfill these two criteria, okay, then it is an OER. Okay, right. Okay, one example is just like a PDF. We can find lots of PDF materials online, right? So that PDF files can be downloaded. Okay, done. That one is free to access. Okay, but then at the end, there's one statement say that all rights reserved. Okay, so when you have that words, all right reserved means that materials, you cannot simply edit, we cannot translate, we cannot remix, and definitely we cannot reuse it. So definitely that PDF, it just remain as an online digital material, not an OER. Okay, right. So basically here, OER is just not about the cost, but that is also about the permission. Okay, so that is OER. So make sure the materials fit these two criteria: free to access and openly licensed. Okay, so that's the definition for OER. Okay, so this is the part. Okay, right. So from reuse to distribution. Okay, so we need to understand, okay, this part of OER. Okay, so these are the 5 R's of OER. Okay, these are the two main ideas lah. The first one is the openness. Okay, what does it mean with the openness? Okay, the second one is on the licensing. So we need to have these two. Okay, so first, openness means that we need to fulfill all these 5 R's. It's not to select. Okay, we need to make sure that the materials meet all these 5 R's. Okay, retain, revise, remix, reuse, redistribute. Okay, so retain means we can make, own, and control a copy of the resource, meaning that, okay, when we uploaded the materials, okay, other person can download our materials and make it as their own. So that one is retain. Revise, okay, we allow them to edit, to adapt, and to modify, okay, the copy of the resource. Meaning like we allow them to translate, okay, the resource, okay, the materials. Let's say we come out, we put in an English version, okay, but they want to translate to other language, into Bahasa Malaysia, into Chinese or what, okay, so we allow to do that. They don't have to ask for permission. Okay, right, then remix. Okay, so we also allow them to combine, okay, the original or the revised copy of the resource with other existing materials to create something new. Okay, let's say they want to add more graphics, okay, more examples. Okay, so we need to allow that. Okay, again, they don't have to ask for permission. Okay, because the permission is already granted. Okay, then reuse, we allow them to reuse, okay, the original copies, the original materials, okay, or the revised, remix copy of the resource publicly. Okay, meaning that, okay, they have our material, downloaded our materials, okay, they, they revise, okay, they change the materials, they add more, okay, to the materials, okay, and then they use it, they share it, okay, with their students publicly. Right, that one is reuse. Okay, and then the last R is redistribute. Okay, and then we also allow them to share copies of the original, okay, original copies, okay, or the revised copy or the remix copy of the resource with others. Okay, so by meaning that we just upload the materials and it's all up to you, okay, how you want to use it, what you want to do it, okay, with the with the materials. So that is the 5 R's of the OER. So make sure you tick all the R's, okay, then pass one criteria. So that is the openness. Okay, so that is the openness. Okay, then how to make it legal? Okay, legal for distribution. So then we can put the license. Okay, how far they can do all the 5 R's is depending on the license that we have set. Okay, we can register with the license. Okay, we put the license first. Okay, so the license are depending on these 5 attributes: attribution, non-derivative works, share alike, and non-commercial. Okay, so basically it's actually 5. Okay, 5 types of the what I call this ni nampak tak ni. Okay, 5 types of license. Okay, so CCBY. So this one, okay, CCBY normally is free to use. Okay, what we need to do is just to give the attribute, okay, to the author. Okay, so we need to, like, if you write papers, okay, then we need to cite, okay, the authors, CCBY. Okay, right, and then second one, CCBYSA. Okay, so it's allow us to download, okay, to use. Okay, allows us to revise, remix, okay, reuse. Okay, but then for redistribution, okay, they need to share the materials using the same license. Okay, so the license for that new materials also should be CCBYSA. Okay, right. And then CCBYNC, this one, okay, this one NC means non-commercial. Okay, so this one is only for educational purposes. Okay, they can copy, they can distribute, they can display, they can perform, they can remix, they can do everything, but then it's only for educational purposes, not for commercial. Okay, then CCBYND. So this one ND means that you can just use it as it is. Okay, right. So you can only copy, distribute, display. Okay, so you cannot edit. You cannot remix. Okay, right. And then the last one is CCBYNCSA. Okay, so this one is quite strict lah. Okay, it's just same level as the copyright. Okay, but then it is not a copyright materials. Okay, but then it is a license. So meaning that you still need to attribute, okay, the authors, okay, right, and then the materials cannot be what I call that, shared. Okay, so this one. Okay, CCBYNCND. Yang ni, kalau ada yang ini, right? So meaning that, okay, sorry, just quite confused. So the CCBY, CCBYSA, CCBYNC, okay, so non-commercialized. Okay, the one CCBYNCSA, so you cannot change, okay, but then you can share, okay, but then it is remain as educational purposes. Okay, then you have CCBYND. ND means you cannot change anything. Okay, and then CCBYNCND, ini paling strict, okay, like copyrighted materials. Okay, so you cannot do anything, you just can download. Okay, right. So if you refer to the freedom spectrum, okay, so we can say that, okay, from CCBY until CCBYNCSA, so this one we can consider as a OER. Okay, but then if we strictly, okay, don't allow the user to remix, okay, to reuse and to distribute, so meaning that definitely it is not an OER. Okay, you can still put the license there. Okay, let's say that might be copywriting the material is quite take a long time, so you can put the license first. Okay, then you go for copyright. Okay, so but then this one, if for copyright, even though to use it, you still need to ask for the license, right? For the consent from the owner. But then for the here, if they put the copyright and the license, so you should know lah, okay, what to do with the materials. Okay, so these are the two things, okay, that you need to consider, okay, when you work with OER, the openness, okay, of the 5 R's and also the license. So refer to the license first. Okay, as you refer to my materials here, okay, so my materials here is CCBYNCSA, okay, right? So if you want to use, you can freely use my materials, okay, but then please, okay, give a tribute to me, okay, and then, okay, if you have changed everything, but then please share it as using the same license, okay, but then do not use it for commercial lah, okay, because this is a sharing session, right? So that is the license. Okay, so this is the license. Okay, this one, okay, so this one is registered under Common Creative. Okay, so my lesson is BYNCSA. So this is the attribution. Okay, so this is how you can write the attribution. Okay, so this is the material. So this is the author. Okay, and this is license under Creative Commons Attribution. So what is the license? Non-commercial, share alike 4.0 international license. Okay, right? So this is the license. Okay, so when you have the license, okay, with the materials, then people will understand, okay, to what level, okay, you can use the materials, right? Okay, and this is how you can distribute, okay, from my materials here, okay, since I applied all the same license, okay, so this is how you can attribute, okay, so this is where you can put the attribution, okay, to the materials, because the SA, okay, right, okay. Now, okay, what is the problem? Okay, what is the problem now? Okay, so the problem now, okay, it is, okay, is the current educational resources, which include the digital resources and even some of the OER, they do not consistently meet the accessibility and the inclusivity needs of all learners. Yes, you come up with the OER, okay, but then the OER did not meet these requirements, accessibility, inclusivity. Okay, so what's wrong with that? Okay, what does it mean? It means that some resources are technically available. Technically, we can see that, oh, there's the materials, you can download, you can use it. Okay, but then it is not usable. You can download, but then you cannot use. What does it mean with use? Okay, for example, yes, you uploaded your PDF file. Okay, but then the PDF file is actually a scanned image. Okay, a scanned image, right? So that's why you cannot do anything with the PDF files. PDF files we should able to edit the PDF file. We should be able to select, okay, then copy the text, right? Okay, but then some of the PDF files, if you notice, okay, it is a scanned image, but it converted to PDF files. So it is technically accessible, okay, but then cannot be used. Okay, right. Okay, what else? Video. Okay, video may be useful for hearing learners. Okay, orang yang boleh dengar, so if okay, right, you can listen, you can watch, you can listen to the audio. Okay, but then inaccessible to the deaf learners. Okay, if there is no caption. So that's what it means. It's technically available, but cannot be used. What else? Your website. Okay, website may look good on the laptop. Okay, but then when you view it in your through your mobile phone, what happened? Okay, all the layout being misaligned already. Okay, so you cannot access the website. Okay, right. And then slide deck. Okay, your presentation slide. Okay, slide deck. Okay, so normally due to the AI notebook LM, so we able to generate more and more attractive slides nowadays. Okay, but then again, right, we as the normal students, but then not the normal students lah. Okay, but then some of us were facing these difficulties, okay, with that, the so-called attractive slide. Okay, because the screen reader cannot read. Okay, what if your student, you got the student with visual disability? Okay, definitely they can enjoy the attractiveness of your slides. Okay, what else? Because the screen reader cannot read the content. Okay, so those are the things. Okay, those are the barriers. Okay, so it's actually you say that the problem is not only so these are the exclusion. Okay, so it's not only limits, okay, the learning, okay, because students so it is limit, okay, the learning, okay, not because of the materials not attractive, okay, but then because students, okay, they spend energy overcoming the barriers instead of engaging with the content. Dia dah penat, right? They're trying to avoid all the barriers, okay, to settle down with that one first, okay, then at the end, okay, so they fail to engage. Because most of their energy they spend on removing, okay, the barriers, overcoming the barriers. Okay, right. So again, the problem is not only on the resource that are unavailable, but then the deeper problem is that the resources are often not designed, okay, for the learner diversity. Okay, right. So that is why, okay, we need the iOER engineering. Okay, so this is the transition from OER to iOER. We have the OER, but then the OER is not accessible and also is not inclusive. So definitely we need to move from OER to iOER. Okay, so right. Okay, so we need to understand lah. Okay, the difference between the terms. Okay, open, accessible, inclusive. So that is why we have the I in front of OER. Okay, the inclusivity. So we need to understand this first. Okay, what make OER and iOER? Okay, right. So this is the maths. Okay, this is the maths. Okay, right. So open doesn't mean accessible, so it's equivalent to inclusive. Okay, so what does it mean with open? Open just now, we need to make sure that it is free for access and also legal to use. You got the legal permission. Okay, done. Right, that one, OER. Okay, then the second element, accessible. Okay, so accessible means the resource is technically usable. Okay, technically usable. For example, that your materials, okay, can work with the screen readers. Okay, you got the captions. Okay, and then you got the proper headings. Okay, and then you consider the readable contrast. Okay, and also it can be navigated properly. Okay, so those what we call as technical usability. Right, and then the third element, inclusive, means that the resource, okay, or the materials should support meaningful participation for diverse learners. It can be used by everyone. Okay, so here we can say that iOER is just not open. Okay, but then it combines the openness, accessibility, and also inclusivity. Okay, right. Okay, so resource, it means that, okay, for example, okay, resource may be open, okay, because it uses the CC license, okay, dah ada license semua. But then when you scan, it is, what I call that, it is a scan image which converted to PDF. So thereby, it is not accessible. Okay. So resource may be technically accessible, but the examples are culturally distant. Language is too complex. Format assume high-speed internet. And again, so this is what we call not inclusive. Okay, so the goal is to design resources that are legally reusable, technically accessible, and meaningful for diverse learners. Okay, so that is iOER. As per the, what I call this definition, okay, it means that iOER refers to the educational resources that are open, accessible, engaging, adaptable, and designed for diverse learners. Okay, so diverse learners means what? So it means that it includes learners with disabilities. Normally, we assume that when we talk about inclusivity, it only for students, okay, with disabilities. No. Okay, so people with or students with disability is part of. Okay, we got outside there, we got learners from different language backgrounds. Okay, we have learners in rural or low connectivity areas. Okay, if you still remember during the lockdown years, 2020, back in 2020, so some students, they only can view or they can only use the WhatsApp or the Telegram to learn, or to study because of the low bandwidth of the connection, internet connection. And then also we need to consider the learners with different levels of prior knowledge, and then learners who need different ways to engage with the content. So we know that we have the various types of learning styles, students with learning styles. We got students who are visual, and then we got students who are auditory. We got students that need kinesthetics, they need to move, right? So we need to cater all this. So meaning say that the key statement here is that iOER is not type of file. It is not a new type of file. So or you can a file type. It's not dot something something something. But then iOER is actually referring to the design commitment. So meaning that here, so it is not enough to say that I have uploaded my slides online. Done. So it is inclusive. So it's just that not that simple. Uploading materials online, then it is inclusive? No, that is not a straight away to say that. So it's actually iOER requires planning. You have to plan. So we must ask, is the material accessible? Is the materials editable? Is it licensed? There's a lot of things that we need to consider. But then it's actually iOER will help us to move from a simple access to a meaningful participation. So that's the answer why the students did not participate. Right. Next. Right. So that is the transition from OER to iOER. So next, how to do the transition? Right, so basically now we can understand the difference between OER and also iOER. So this is the heart of the presentation. Why the word engineering? Why the word engineering? So it's actually this one is referring to my own experience during the iOER initiative by the KPT back in 2023. So I have gone through all these hurdles, to come out, first to learn on OER, and then to produce the iOER. So I've gone through a very long journey, and at the same time, I'm teaching web engineering. So I think we have a similar process here. So that's why I call it as an iOER engineering framework. But then the key word here, when we talk about engineering, it means systematic. It means systematic, right? Let's see what we have here. So iOER engineering, this one refers to the development and implementation of iOER. The development and also the implementation of iOER, which is designed to enhance the accessibility, inclusivity, and effectiveness of the educational materials across various formats and platforms. Right. So meaning that here, accessibility and inclusions are not added at the last minute. They were built into the process. Right. So for example, when you want to create a slide deck, your presentation slide, we should already think about the readable fonts, about the contrast, about the alternate text, about the logical reading order, right? And then when involve the video, we need to think about the caption, the transcript, the audio quality, right? We need to think about that, prior to the development process. So iOER engineering here, is a systematic approach, which integrate with the principle of universal design and accessibility into the creation and dissemination of the OER, to ensure that the materials are usable and beneficial to diverse range of learners, which include those with disabilities. So it's like here and there. Okay, so that's why I think opening. Okay, so that's why I come out. Okay, it's supposed to do this. Okay, we put things, okay, as a framework. Okay, right. So before we move to the framework, so let's see the blueprints of the OER before we transform it into the iOER. Okay, universal design for learning. So I will touch on surface only because later on, okay, the other speakers, okay, Associate Professor Dr. Julia, okay, will explain on the in details. Okay, right. Okay. So now, UDL will help us, okay, to come up with a materials, okay, that can be used by everyone. Okay, that can make our materials flexible. Okay, because of these three principles: engagement, representation, action, expression. Okay, and each of these elements will answer different questions. Okay, so it is a process. First, the engagement. It will answer why learners care. So here, we need to motivate them. We need to motivate the students, okay, to understand, to engage, to connect with the materials. First thing first, okay, we need to make the student engage the materials. Why? How? We can give them choice, give choice of material, format of materials, and then we can make it relevant to their, what I call it, experience, okay, and then give a flexible challenge, or you can also use the low stake practice. Okay, right. So basically, engagement is about motivating the students, okay, or motivating the learners and help them to connect with the materials. Okay, right. So they're being connected at first phase. Second, representation. It will answer how learners access meaning. Okay, the second element here, representation, is how to make them understand the materials. Okay. So how about, okay, this is how about how learners will access the meaning of the materials. So here we can, what I call that, provide captions, okay, transcripts, glossaries, diagrams, okay, because different types of students, okay, different types of learning style will learn in different way. Okay, so we need to consider that. And finally, action and expression. Okay, this is okay, to look into what they have learned. So second stage, okay, how they learn. The next one is to look into what they have learned. Okay, so to understand, it's about learners, okay, shows that what they have understand. Okay, so it's just not leaving them with the materials, but then we need to check, we need to get the feedback, okay, see what they have understand from the materials. Okay, because again, the learners will have different ways, okay, in representing, okay, their understanding. Okay, some may need to write, okay, but then some they're good in explaining, oral explanation, but some they're good in drawing, okay, they love visuals, coming out with the infographic and so on. Some they build prototype, okay, some they will reflect. So different learners, okay, will have different styles of learning. So we need to consider all these three elements. Okay, but then don't get it wrong. Okay, UDL does not reduce academic standards. Okay, don't get it wrong, yeah. So it does not reduce academic standard, but then it will remove unnecessary barriers so that learners have better opportunities to meet the standard. Okay, so that is UDL. Okay, so that's why we call it as the blueprints for OER. Okay, right. So this is the engineering part. So I have gone through all these. Okay, so that's why I put it in a framework. So to make it clear for everyone, okay, on to coming out or to produce, okay, the iOER. Okay, right. It look like complex, but it is just a very straightforward process. Okay, not to worry. Okay, because I'm a computer science lecturer, so we need to have this, the so-called flowchart, okay, to make it easier for us to understand the process. Okay, so, right. So this is the beginning of the process. Start. Okay, so first thing first, ask yourself, do you have any OER? How do you know? So check for the two elements, okay, the openness and also the legal permission. Okay, So starting from your existing materials, yeah, check whether it is an OER or not. Okay, check for the two elements, openness and also the permission. Okay. If no, okay, then you write new content, or if you have the existing materials, okay, then identify the 5 R's, okay, and then get the license. Done. Okay, if yes, okay, you just adapt or revise the content. Okay, if necessary. Okay, so for this one, okay, when you write a new content or upgrade the new content, upgrade the content, next is to check for the IP, the copyright. Okay, and then no copyright, okay, then check for the license. Okay, the license, the CC license. Okay, and then check, okay, whether all the materials, okay, has been attributed accordingly. Okay, right. So done, okay, so having here, okay, so here you got your OER already. Okay, so then only you can go to formatting and style. So don't get it wrong, formatting style, just not making it beautiful. Okay, but then it's actually, we need to make sure that it support readability, navigation, and accessibility. Kalau banyaknya. So many things. No, I will show you later. So just wait. Okay, please bear with me. We just understand the framework first. Okay, right, done. Okay, so after that, okay, we check for the accessibility. So check for the accessibility means that we need to check on the image, right, whether it got the alternate text, okay, right, and then got the headings and so on. So no, not to worry, I will explain on the accessibility by showing you examples later on. Okay, right, done. So check for accessibility. Okay, if no, then again back to the format and style. Okay, check for accessibility. Then when everything done, okay, finally you go for the final check. Okay, so final check. So this is the final review before you can publish the OER. Publish means, okay, to make it accessible, okay, to others, whether you want to upload it online or what. Okay, right. But then it does not stop here. Okay, you're supposed, okay, to collect the feedback. Okay, so you're supposed to you should collect the feedback, okay, so that you can improve the content, improve the resource from time to time. If you did not collect the feedback, then definitely the process will end there lah. Okay, right. So this is the framework. Okay, this is the framework. Right. So what you need to do, okay, from the what call it, the materials that you have, upgrade it to OER, okay, and then upgrade it to the iOER. So these are the steps. Okay, right. Okay. So, okay, so this is the process. What about the output? Okay, so let's see some examples and also the quality lens. Okay, so make sure that we have the, what call it, materials, okay, that meet certain quality. Okay, right. Okay, so for example, I'm referring to, this is what I did, okay, for the iOER initiative, okay, by the KPT back in 2023. So I referring to the subject that I taught in UiTM, Web Engineering. So basically this course, okay, is structured by the chapters. So these are the 3 chapters that I focus on. So for every chapter, okay, they got all these materials. Okay, they got the lectures, lecture notes in PDF form. Okay, and also got the lecture notes on the web page. Okay, and also got the lecture videos. Okay, and then I provided them with the exercise in slide form, and also, okay, provide them with the Q&A using the AI GPT. Okay, but then and everything, okay, for the accessibility, okay, I put everything on a website. Okay, so that the students, okay, or the learners easy to access all the materials. Okay, right. So this is the structure. Okay, so if you want to have a look on the materials, okay, you can scan. Okay, you can scan this page, or I will share with you the link as well. Right, so please check the chat area. Okay, I've shared with you the link, or you may scan the QR code, okay, to access the what you call this, to access the materials. Okay. Okay, so once you click the link, okay, you will be directed to here. Okay, so this is the, what you call that, the iOER that I've come up with lah. Okay, so it comprises all the like 5 types, okay, 5 formats. Okay, so all these pass the accessibility, what you call that, accessibility checking. Okay, so you got all the course info, okay, and then you got the, what you call this, attribution, okay, and then all these are the topics, okay, right, and these are all the videos, all the materials, okay, you got slides, videos, exercises, and also the question and answer. Okay, so you can go through this, okay, to see, but then I'll need to go back to the presentation, okay, so that I will explain to you, okay, what is happening, okay, what are the materials. Okay, hold on. Okay, right. Okay, so all these are the format, yeah? Okay, find the website, the video, the question and answer, the in forms of the AI. Okay, and then you got the, what I call this, the PDF and also the PowerPoint slides. Okay, right. Okay, so let's look, okay, format by format, okay, type by types, okay, on the, this one, on the, what I call that, presentation slides first. Okay, so this is the commonly used types of learning materials lah. So we prepare the slides, okay, and then we share with the students, okay, and sometimes we upload it, okay, we upload the slides, okay, online, okay, right. So we normally put quite effort, okay, to make our slide look presentable, okay. It looked nice, okay, but then due to some what I call that, hurdles, some barriers, okay, it also will lead to students struggle understanding the slide. Okay, we feel that it's okay already. Okay, it enough for us. Okay, but then not to the students. Okay, because of the different levels of or different styles, because of the barriers. Okay, right. Okay, so when you want to come up with, okay, the slides, okay, these are the things that you need to consider. First thing first, so make sure you use a large, legible font size and or the sensory fonts for better readability. For font size, font type, that one is for readability. So normally we use Arial, we use all this group of font lah, sensory fonts, okay, for readability. Okay, tak payahlah pakai sign yang berbunga-bunga tu. It's so hard for readability. It's not good for readability purposes. Okay. Then the second one is the contrast. Okay, the contrast between the background colors and also the font color. Okay. So this one, that's why I prefer to make my slide look clean. Last time, yeah. So it's full of colorfuls, okay, image there, image here, okay, until I discover on iOER, oh, okay, then I realized, so that's after that. So my slide, okay, I'll go clean, right? So the contrast, why? Because you want to make it content readable for people with low vision or color blindness. Okay, so the contrast. Okay, next, we need to check the reading order of the elements on each slide is logical when using a screen reader. So when you use a screen reader, okay, Dr. Jula will demonstrate that later on. So when you use a screen reader, it will read line by line. So we need to instruct, okay, the screen reader on how to read the content. Okay, so we need to check the reading order. So it will read from here first, okay, then to the first line, the heading, okay, and then this one, the subheading, and also the image. So that's how you will read. Okay, then descriptive titles, okay, titles with headings for easy navigation. Okay, so you have the heading 1, heading 2, heading 3, subheading 1, subheading 2. Okay, so you need to have that. Okay, next, alternative tag. If you use tags, so make sure that you add, okay, alternative tags. It means that when you hover over the image, that will come up with a small box, okay, explaining the image. So they want also for the screen reader purposes, okay. Next, make sure, okay, the layout, okay, the design is simple and consistent. okay, throughout all the slides. Okay, then avoidance of flashing or moving content. Okay, so all the animated GIF, okay, animation, okay, reduce it. Okay, because that could cause seizures. Okay, so we never thought about that, right? Okay. And then here you provide comprehensive speaker notes, okay, to convey in additional information and details not present on the slide. So you have extra notes, okay, put it here, not to put everything on the slides. Okay, right. Okay, so how to check for the readability for this one? I'm using PowerPoint. So you got this menu, go to review, under accessibility, got all these sub menus, okay, that can help you to check for the accessibility. So all the report will be written here. Okay, so you got if it will inspect for the result lah. Okay, if it's not meet the accessibility features, then it will list out very long, okay, of errors. Okay, so you need to clean everything until got this tick, no accessibility issues found. Okay, if you got the issues, then again, okay, right, check the spelling, okay, check the orders and so on. Okay, until you got this, and then you got this message. Okay, accessibility, good to go. Then clear. Right? Okay. Then PDF. Normally, okay, so that's it. So this is how it works. Okay, normally, okay, you got this PowerPoint slide. Okay, so you go to save as, you save as PowerPoint picture. You save as PowerPoint picture. So that's what make your slide is technically accessible but not usable, because it's no longer in forms of text, but then it is, we turn it into the forms of picture, right? Okay, so PDF document. So normally we tend to convert our slides to PDF. Okay, for easier for students, we make it easier for them to read lah. Okay. Okay. So the things are getting tougher, okay, as for me. Okay, but then it will be getting easier, okay, when you know. Okay, so definitely when you go through all this, it become addicted. Okay, you become addicted. So for the PDF, okay, first thing first, again, to make sure that it is a text-based, okay, text-based, not scan image. Scan image means when you try to select the text, okay, not select. Okay, because everything is in forms of image. Okay, so not the you insert the image. Okay, but then make sure that it is a text. Okay, so why? To allow screen reader access, because screen reader cannot read text in an image unless you put the alternative text, then only it will read, but then it read according to the alternative text, not the text itself. Okay, then set the document language. Okay, easier for the screen reader to read. Okay, if English, then I understood. Okay, so the materials are in English. Okay, then properly tag, tab, list, and other structure. So again, okay, for the screen reader, so that it can read through accordingly, okay, to the structure. Okay. Right, and then, okay, if you have a very long materials, okay, please create bookmark. So this one for easier navigation. Okay, easier for the learners to navigate, okay, from content to content. Right, and then use heading and style to define document structure. So here you use H1, so meaning that this is the main heading. Okay, if you got a subheading, then you go for H2. So understood by the screen reader that one is a subheading for this one. Okay, right. Okay, and then if you got image, right, if it is what I call that non-text alternative text for images and other non-text elements. So if this one, you can either put it as decorative. So decorative, so screen reader will ignore. But then if you put the alternative text, then it will start to describe to the learners, okay, what the image is all about. Okay, right. Next, again, check for color contrast. Okay, so same goes to the slide just now. Right, check the color contrast, okay, the background color and also the font color. Okay, font color, yes. Right, and then check the logical reading order, okay, in the document structure. So we never think about this, we never knew about this right before this, okay, but then for iOER, yes, you need to allow, okay, we need to tell the screen reader what to read first, okay, then followed by what. Okay, So the logical reading. Okay, so how to task for accessibility in what I call this in PDF? Okay, you got this accessibility checker. Okay, for PDF also you got this accessibility checker, right? Okay, so prepare for accessibility. So check for accessibility. It come up with this box. Okay, it will tick all the things that you need to check for accessibility, and then it will come with a very long list of errors. So this is my first what I call it first round. Okay, so based on this report, so we have to okay, like bookmark fail. So color contrast need manual check. Okay, figures alternative fail. So all these fail, we need to make it pass. Okay, so we need to make the changes. Okay, so that the result is pass. Okay, right, until it become this one. Everything is clear. Okay, then your PDF files, okay, is ready to go online. Okay, right. And now for the video. Okay, so this is the commonly used. Right now we got this notebook LM, so you can create video. But then if you notice, okay, what's wrong with the video? So normally you put only the images, okay, and then you got the audio, the narration, but can without the subtitles or without the caption. So still no point, right? Okay. Okay, so for video presentation, these are the things that you need to consider. So first thing first, okay, the closed caption. If you upload it to YouTube, then it will automatically create the, what I call that, CC, okay, the closed caption for the video. Okay, if not, then you have to come up with the caption yourself. Okay, put the subtitles. Okay, so mine, I put the subtitles. Okay, yang ini before the AI tools generated back in 2023. Just imagine, I'm using Acrobat tools, okay, to put in all the what I call this, the caption. Okay, so this one is for people who deaf or hard of hearing. So subtitles for multiple languages. Okay, normally you can have two lah. So you can have the English on top. Okay, below you got in Malay. Okay, but then make it italic. Okay. Right, so this one is for viewers who speak different languages or for whom the video language is not their first language. Okay, then you consider the transcription, video transcription. Okay, right, so include dialogue and also non-speech elements. Okay, then make the quality audio, okay, high quality audio. Okay, and then make sure it synchronizes, okay, between the audio and also the video. If you got lines of text, okay, make sure, right? So the audio is referring to the text. Okay, jangan letak orang kata apa text lain punya audio lain. So make it synchronized, okay? Right. So quality voiceover, okay, and reduce background music. Okay, so reduce the background noise. Then again, no flashing content that could trigger seizures. We never know what can happen with all the animation that we include to the video. Next, okay, use accessible media player that support keyboard shortcuts so that your user, your learner can control, okay, their learning session. Okay, right, and then remove the autoplay, this one to avoid confusion and also distraction. Okay, allow the learners to control the session on their own. Okay, so this one for audio or for video, sorry. Okay, right, clear, then upload. Now, web page. Okay, so web pages, again, web pages, website, web page, one page, the website is the, what I call it, the portal itself lah. Okay, so basically, website is useful for iOER because it can act as a central repository. So it will make your materials, your resources, okay, is more accessible. Okay, right. So this one I created using Google site. Okay, I just use Google site. Come together with the, what I call that, our institution email, right? So I just use the free things. Okay, now, so first thing first, okay, also here on website, you need to provide the alternate text, okay, for screen reader users. Okay, so this one, expand collapse, okay, on what you can do, okay, so it will read lah. Next, ensure all interactive elements are navigable with the keyboard. Okay, navigable with the keyboard, it's like a control, okay, the navigation. Next, provide caption and transcript for multimedia. Okay. Use a semantic HTML and area to convey structure to assistive technology. Okay, automatically it will, when you develop the, what I call this website, okay, using HTML, then it comes together with the area. Okay, I'll show you later on, okay, what to check. And then maintain, again, high contrast between text and backgrounds for readability. Okay. Right, careful if you use image as a background, also make sure okay, the text is not too overpowering the text. Okay. Okay, next, okay, use the text to speech tool. Okay, instead of the screen reader, you can also use the text to speech tools. Okay, to this one is not only for you learners with what you call this visual disabilities. It also can help us, okay, as a students, okay, so that we instead of reading, it will read the text line by line. Okay, right. And you have this one, okay, read aloud voice reader. Instead of reading yourself, okay, we allow the web, okay, to read, okay, the content. Okay, right. And also it will allow us to control, okay, to control the navigation and also the speech. Okay, so this is how you can check for accessibility in web. Okay, you can use wave evaluation tool. Okay, wave evaluation tool. This one to check the accessibility for a website. Okay, so when you have this one, you click, then it will check everything for you. So here it will list on all the errors, okay, the contrast errors, okay, the alert features, okay, and then it will list on everything. Okay, and on area, on the structure, you can check. If got errors, then it will highlight the errors. Okay, so for this one, okay, 0 errors, and then no errors on the contrast, so it's clear to go. Okay. Right, so this is how we can check the accessibility. But then again, the tools only to help you to check on the technical things. Okay, but then on the content still, we need the human, okay, we need you, okay, to check on the content, right? Okay. And this one for the AI powered, okay. So this one to support for iOER, okay, last time, okay, why we're so reluctant to use image because if we find it hard, okay, to explain the image. Okay, so but then now with the what I call it the AI tools, okay, we can use them like ChatGPT, Gemini, and so on, okay, to help us, okay, to generate, okay, the alternative text. We just provide them with the image, okay, and ask them to generate the alternative text. So it will explain, right? It will explain the text, and then it will be easier. Okay, right. And then also it can help us a lot, okay, develop the alternate text, the speaker notes, the explanation, the quiz items, okay. So you're free to use the AI tools, okay, because we know that developing iOER definitely will take time. Okay, so by using the AI, it will help us to reduce the workload and help educators create the draft faster. Okay, right. Okay, so this is what you do. Okay, it helps with the explanation, okay, and then the prompt and also the discussion. Okay, so basically, right, it is to support, okay, to support, right. Okay, now how to make sure, how to check the what you call this the quality. Okay, so at the end, these are the simple checklists, okay, for judging the resource strength. Okay, so first thing first, okay, we need to check whether it is openly licensed. Openly licensed can mean that it is an OER ready. Okay, right, and then to make it iOER, make sure that it is editable. Okay, and then make it accessible, inclusive, pedagogically aligned. Okay, culturally relevant. Culturally relevant means when you give examples, okay, we are in Malaysia, so give a local examples, okay, rather than you give the overseas examples. Okay, that will be easier for students to understand. And then technically usable, right? Low bandwidth friendly. Okay, so make sure, right? It also can be accessed, okay, by students with this constraint. Okay, and then clearly attributed. Okay, and then make sure it is maintainable. Okay, so basically you can say that strong iOER is not judged by the appearance alone. okay, but that is also judged by the permission, by the usability, by the learning value, and also the sustainability. Okay, so everything here definitely it will conform to the 5 R's of OER. Okay, and then it tick the what I call this accessibility features and also the inclusivity. Okay, right. And but last but not least, okay, to close the sessions, okay, right. So just now we think why our materials are the so-called field. Okay, right. So we keep on asking the barriers. Okay, so now you can use the same materials. Okay, try to grade it using this score. Okay, so silently, okay, score your materials from 1 to 5. Okay, so first thing first, check on openness and licensing. Can it be legally reused and adapted? Are you allowed for that? Okay, 1 or 5. Okay, and then if you're allowed, to what level? Okay, and then accessibility. Can different learners access and operate it? Okay, right, and then cultural relevance. Okay, does it respect context, identity, and language? Pedagogical design, does it support the intended learning outcome still? Right, and then sustainability, can it maintain, updated, and remix? Okay, so try to score your materials now. Okay, right. If more to 1, definitely meaning that it is just a normal teaching and learning materials. Sorry to say. If more towards 2 or 3, okay, you are moving towards OER. Okay, OER. Okay, and then 3 to 4, okay, right, then okay, you're moving towards iOER. If you got all 5, yeah, then congratulations, okay, you have upgraded to iOER. Okay, so just be honest with the resource. Okay, strong content can still fail licensee, access, culture, pedagogy, or the maintenance. Okay, so that is the, what I call that, the toughest truths lah. Okay, okay, then, okay, right. So for the closing sentences, okay, I can say that, so all these are the important lines, okay. So we can say that open is the beginning. So meaning that OER starts with legal permission, okay, open and legal, right, and permitted. And that accessible is minimum. So meaning that learners must be able to technically use the resource. Inclusive is the goal, meaning that the resource should support meaningful participation for diverse learners. Okay, and engineering is the method. So this means that we need a systematic process, okay, to analyze, to design, to develop, to test, to release, and to improve. Okay, so that's why back to our topic, inclusive IOER, okay, inclusive engineering or IOER engineering. It means that designing, okay, open resources, okay, that learners can legally reuse, technically assess, meaningfully understand, and confidently participate in. Okay, right? And the most important message here is that open is not enough. Open is not enough, meaning that it's not enough, okay, for you to just upload the materials online. Okay, so we need learning resources, okay, that actually work for every learner. So let's move from the normal or usual materials, okay, to the IOER. Okay, so with that, okay, all these are the reference, okay, for the materials, and I think that's all, okay, for my own reflection. So I then realized, okay, after the workshop and after the, we call that the initiative, then I realized that it's actually, it is true that less is more. Okay, so with that, okay, I will end the session. Thank you so much. Okay, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
All right, Walaikum salam. Thank you very much, TS Erny, Arniza. I think a lot of fruitful informations that you have shared with us. I hope everyone please stay put, because there's a lot more of tips and tricks coming from our second speaker. But do not scared of all these technical terms and also all the technical formatting that you need to follow. But just bear in mind, because this is actually the way on how we try to move into the shift 10, responsive and also dynamic delivery that has been embarked in our Malaysian higher education blueprint as well, in shift 10, where we need to provide not only tackles for the learners who are ordinary learners, but also for these special needs learners. So just bear in mind on that. All right, so I think we actually have one question, if you can answer very in a short limited time. And before we move to our second speakers, there is actually one question coming from Sabaria, where she asked about on how do we limit the OER content in a topic, and also does it have to follow the format? Yeah, that one simple question.
Okay, thank you so much, Dr. Doria, and thank you so much for Dr. Sabari for the questions. Yes, it's true lah. Okay, how to limit? It's actually, okay, when we want to come up with, okay, it is advisable, okay, for video, it's actually to be more specific on video. So basically we need to chunk. So that is the term. We need to chunk the materials. If for video, we need to chunk until only for 5 to 6 minutes. Yeah, if you notice, my video is quite long, because that's why I provide with the control so that you can control the video itself. Okay, but then the good practice is actually to chunk your materials. Okay, make it in forms of chunk. Chunks means that you just split it by, normally what I do is I will split it based on the objective. Okay, so one learning objective, one chunk. Okay, so that you give ample time, okay, for the learners, okay, to understand the concept. Okay, and then what format is depending. Okay, what format depending, okay, on for the learners. Okay, so basically, definitely you will do all the profiling first. Okay, then you know, okay, what types of material, what types of formats required by the learners. Okay, as for me, so those are the materials, those are the format that normally I will provide to my students, okay, to my learners, okay, because of the 3 types of learning style. Okay, so it's actually started with the slides only. Okay, then only we just upgrade to the PDF, we upgrade to the videos, okay, we upgrade to the, we call it the exercises, okay, just with one materials. Okay, but the good practice is, okay, chunk it into a small portion, okay, so that it will easier for the students, okay, to understand and to understand, okay, the UDL formats, okay, to engage, okay, and then to understand, okay, and then they can we call it, they can reflect, okay, on their learning. Okay, I hope that that answer the questions.
All right, so thank you very much, TS Erny. So I think the tips here is actually we try to put on hold on the keywords on the chunking process of the learning materials. All right, so I think most of the participants can keep for a while for the questions. We continue and pass over to our second speaker, Associate Professor Dr. Julia Lee I Cheng. So the topic from Dr. Julia is actually on unpacking the black box of iOER on diversity in higher education. So, all right, I think there will be lots more on the tips and tricks in the black box. All right, so I pass over to Dr. Julia. Please welcome Dr. Julia.
The voice, agency are valued, and then this one sometimes we assume, we make a lot of assumptions when you go to a classroom. Like for example, if we drive a car, so a student should be able to reach campus on time. So there's a lot of assumptions, or we assume that all students, when they go back, we have had a few times when there were public holidays and students were already back in kampong and they couldn't access the material or they couldn't join online. I think we need to take time to find out where they're from. Maybe because they're from a rural area, a remote area and all that, or because they are from the lower SES, etc. So all this actually helps us with the system implementations, the nation's goal to meet this national iOER policy, which is actually adhering to UNESCO. So we're actually many layers down the ideal world. UNESCO set a goal for Malaysia. Malaysia set a goal for all of us instructors. Okay, so today after this, I'm going to move on and talk about how I have prepared material. So I'm just going to do a recap on where we were. So we had about 8 touch points, I think. Touch points meaning meeting with the expert to help us do iOER. So today, as I said, if you feel that you don't understand, be patient with yourself, or you feel like you dapat sikit, after that you cannot remember everything that is shared today, don't worry. We are actually in the process. Okay, so that was in 2022. For the whole year of 2022, I felt like my life was very busy just about iOER. Oh yes, here I've said here, mentioned here 4 months. So my journey towards iOER is that throw away all the assumptions about students and then begin to sit down and think about barriers. What is the barrier between the learner and you? And in our class, I don't know about your other universities, sometimes our classes can be as big as 120. So I've got 120 metric numbers, 120 names. Imagine that we are accepting students from all over Malaysia. Already, from a cultural point of view, there's a barrier, maybe language as well, you know. So from OER to iOER is the why, the big why. One is to remove barriers. Of course, the big thing is about UDL. It takes maybe another 3 to 4 sessions to really understand UDL. I actually teach this in a particular undergraduate course, and it's a 3-credit course, you know. So the entire semester, we are literally talking about UDL. And then ensure inclusive learning opportunities benefit all learners, including those who are differently abled. So disability may not be seen with the human eye. Sometimes it's at the cognitive level. For example, this semester, I couldn't understand why a particular student told me she couldn't understand the notes. So then I asked her, why don't you try to translate the notes into IBAN? You know, with AI now, they translate into IBAN, your mother tongue, and understand the notes. Then you can backtrack and try to understand, because many of our notes these days are also in English. We can teach in Bahasa Melayu, but the notes are in English. So when they do revision, how do they do it? So nowadays they have AI. They can also, these are people who are actually typically able, you know. It's just that they don't understand the notes. Maybe 1% of 106 students is telling me that. So I had to ask myself, why is a barrier, rather than saying, kenapa anda tak faham, masih tak faham, you know, rather than scolding them, we have to think of ways to help them. So expand their access to educational resources that are vital to their inclusion in society. Imagine this, our students who come through our hands, we are very powerful people. We are training people to go into society. That means the moment they encounter us or we encounter them, our power to change their lives is very high. Whether they come from low SES or they came with very little knowledge, that they are actually, every one of our young people are leaders in the society. One day, they will be the pillars of change in our society. They will be our leaders. So then how do we ensure that they have access to our educational resources? Because they are vital. They are very important people. We are actually serving a very important group of people in our class, you know, because of the inclusion in society. We have had students who became diplomats, you know. We have had students who became general manager, CEO, and all that. We have the power to change. So now iOER can also change the lives of people who are differently abled. Differently abled, maybe cognitively, maybe physically, maybe also culturally. People go to university to change their perspectives. Okay, now I move on to the topic that I chose for the iOER project, which is the title is Diversity in Higher Education. So all these people here you see on the screen are the younger lecturers. Okay, so we are tasked with the we are tasked with this job, very important job of training our younger lecturers so that they can then leave a legacy behind. Because as I mentioned, we have a very important job of training our undergrads and postgraduate students. So in this diversity in higher education, I think I meet the young lecturers for about 6 hours, something like that. is not entirely completely face-to-face, hybrid and all that. So it's for a postgraduate diploma in higher education in teaching and learning. So during our face-to-face moments, we can get them to go in groups. So this particular image here, you can see I'm already using iOER, whereby I label the image here and I say CCBYNC 4.0. Okay, so here, this is an image that I think I took. I was the one who took the photo. So then I can share it here and then I label it properly so that somebody with visual impairment can then have the screen reader to read this because they cannot see this image. Imagine somebody who's completely visually impaired cannot see any image, any nice images we put in our PowerPoint slides. So when we do the iOER, then we become very cognizant and we take a step back and ask, oh, so I have all these beautiful images. How can the person with visual impairment then follow my notes? This is a very simple question. So this is the way to do it, to do proper labeling of the images that we add and to be very careful not to add images that are non-essential, not important. And then we keep our notes very, very bare. Actually, we keep our PowerPoint slides very, very, I would say Japanese style, like furniture that has got no flowery matters inside there, just the necessary details. And then everything you put here will be licensed by whatever, Creative Commons, whatever that you think your image qualifies for. So these are photos that I've taken, and here postgraduate diploma in higher education group presentation by lecturers. So these are images taken by me. So this is one way you can label your images in an iOER material. Okay, so for our project previously, for the showcase for KPT, as I had mentioned, 3 parts of notes that I divided into part 1, part 2, and part 3. So all these are the subtopics. Okay, so it's about 5 minutes each. So everybody knows the bite size, what bite size mean. So bite size PowerPoint slides part 1, 2, and 3, and I created the corresponding bite size videos, which we uploaded into YouTube. Okay, so bite size video part 1 corresponds to PowerPoint 1, and 2 corresponds to 2, and 3 to 3 here. So this is how I've approached the iOER project previously. So when we create our notes, before iOER, I never think about this particular function in Microsoft Word. It's called accessibility. When you click on accessibility, they will start to show you one extra panel here about check accessibility, about spelling, about reading order pane, about subtitle settings, and then there's a reading order here. Okay, the reason why this particular function becomes ultimately very important in an iOER process is because for somebody with visual impairment, they actually need the reading order. The reading order means this one is title. We're actually telling them when they go through another, let's say, software, they want to translate what they hear from us into Braille, and they're following this with a screen reader. The screen reader needs to tell them this is a title. So that's why the reading order must be 1 and then 2. So this is title 1 and this is the content placeholder, and then it has the information. So things that we have taken for granted before, now we have to think about if somebody has a visual impairment and they have a screen reader, how would the screen reader read it? If we terbalik this thing into this is 1 and 2, so the screen reader will read this one first and then this one next. So we have to be very clear the sequence of the reading order. Okay. So it's actually a lot of work when you actually want to design this properly. So this software is a free software, and I have just checked earlier whether it can read Bahasa Melayu. It can. I've never done it before personally, but you can read it. Okay, so this is NV, non-visual access to technology. And I think university should have the habit of getting students to declare after they have already joined the university during orientation week to find out actually whether they have any visual impairment or not. I'm now going to share with you NVDA 2023.3 is a version number that shows you how the NVDA reads the screen. If you cannot hear me, please let me know, all right?
Slide 2. Inclusiveness and cultural diversity in higher education. Inclusiveness and cultural diversity in higher education bullet most institutions of higher learning have diversity, equity, and inclusion goals. Bullet vast benefits of culturally inclusive experiences, increased cultural awareness, decreased racial bias, increased cognitive development, social agency, perspective taking, learning gains.
Okay, so the screen reader is very helpful for the ones who need it. Oops, sorry. Let me go to the next slide. I think that accidentally went out of. Okay, so now this one here. All right, so the next one is the use of alt text. Alt text is where alternative text, an alternative to this image here. If somebody with a visual impairment, what would they see? Okay, so that means it makes us always stop and think that what you can see, maybe somebody cannot see. So here we have to describe the object here and its context to someone who is blind or with low vision. What is the subject? What is the setting? What is the action? Other relevant information. So this one here, I actually put this myself here. Happiness in a colorless world, visual disability is not a hindrance to live normal, colorful life as shown by these blind girls who are having laughter and joyful moment while exchanging stories, reading Braille book, living in the dark, not necessarily mean a lonely life. So this is an image that I could use. Okay, it's under license CC BY NCSA 2.0. So here, alt text basically mean we are trying to tell Microsoft Word in here when you type it. We're trying to tell Microsoft Word, please generate the alt text for me. When you click on generate alt text, it will generate for you this text. But if it is a decorative image, for example, you just suddenly put a moon and a star, then you can say it's a decorative. But unless it has a meaning, you can say, you type something in here, generate alt text. So all this, if the more images you have, the more alt text you have to go really 100% into iOER. So this is another one. 2 images here means 2 alt text. Here I put undergraduate final year project presentation. I click on generate, then it will generate this one here and another one here. Right? So the rectangle here, rectangle you see here is a reading order, the big rectangle out here. Okay, rectangle. Then I say it's decorative. Then the person with visual impairment know, oh, this is decorative. Okay, then they can go into the title, happiness, title of the object, happiness, and then picture 5, happiness in colorless, and slide number is a placeholder. So you put a slide number, you still have to say, itu slide number. So everything now must be something textual, and they can also get the screen reader to read. So it becomes multi-sensory, okay? So then you see here, so this is the title, and then I go into picture. I'm moving my PowerPoint slides, okay? Title, yeah, you see the dot there. This is the title, this is the picture, and then the slide number. Everything must be read on the screen. So then, actually, what happened was for me, when I prepared this, I actually spent a few hours. It's not something that you can just go in and start preparing and then 5 minutes later you're in class. It's something that takes time because you are literally, you see, trying to tell the person with visual impairment, ini title, ini picture, ini slide number, you see? So the reading order must be clear, everything must be properly labeled. All right, so then we also do the accessibility check. So Microsoft Word is a very powerful software where there is also accessibility check here. And we always like to see this word, no accessibility issues found. If the moment selagi kita tengok accessibility ada masalah, tidak boleh kongsilah sebagai iOER, yeah. So this is no accessibility issues found. People with disability should not have difficulty reading this presentation. So This is very important for it to be iOER, for it to qualify, because we are talking about accessibility. So Microsoft Word is, like I said, so good that it can tell us where are the problems. So we keep on fixing. It's like fixing syntax error also. Okay, so this is your accessibility information. I'm showing you the good result because already fixed the problem. Okay, no accessibility issues found. So this becomes your accessibility report card. Why? Because I label this image properly. This whole thing has got the border, has got the information around it, has got a label, and this one, the page number, has got information as well. Okay, so this is the accessibility report card. All right, so when we prepare videos, we also have to be very cognizant of the fact that some of our students may not be very good in English. Most of them who come to, let's say, our university here, they come from lower SES backgrounds and they didn't have a lot of exposure. They were speaking maybe, let's say, bahasa pertama, bahasa Sarawak, bahasa kedua, bahasa lain lah. Then English becomes a third language. So then we have to be very cognizant of the fact that we need to go the extra mile by creating subtitles. So here I've created using Canva the subtitles in English and Malay. I went into Canva, I listened to her transcript. This is one of our former students with visual impairment. I listened to her and then I typed the subtitles. But of course, if you upload to YouTube, YouTube will also generate it automatically, although sometimes there may be spelling errors if they're not very sensitive to our pronunciation or our language. So I'm just going to share this video with you. So this one is her sharing about what do I need as a learner with hearing impairment. So as somebody doing iOER at that time, I was asking myself, if you have hearing, 100% hearing, you don't know what it's like to be hearing impaired actually. So I asked her to tell me and other colleagues, what does she need as somebody with hearing impairment? Okay, I'm going to share this video, which is about, I think, a few minutes. Can you hear it?
Dalam jurusan sains politik. Pada awal semasa saya duduk berkreasi, tapi hanya untuk satu saja saya tak boleh sebab saya tak dapat dengan sebab saya masuk dalam itu ada dalam beratus saja dan kita itu tak selesai. Dan satu ada kalanya masyarakat yang terancam betul jelas yang mereka ambil sama sebab mereka sedang mengajar itu susah untuk saya cukup faham apa yang disebut sampai oleh sekarang. Jadi mungkin lepas seminggu saya kita harus pada mereka beritahu apa cara yang boleh dipakai. Maka saya semua dapat kembali pada dengan kelas digital dijalankan pada tahun 2018. Bila mereka berbincang satu perkara yang kita makan sampaikan, mereka boleh tengok mungkin tadi macam kelas mereka akan bantu saya tulis dan beritahu apa yang akan dilakukan. Dan bila face-to-face bagi saya ada masalah sebab saya pakai telefon. Tapi sampai masalah untuk saya sebab line yang tak stabil, internet yang tak stabil, tak masalah. Tetapi kawan saya bila habis kelas saya tanya apa soalan yang saya tak faham. Mereka kawan saya sangat cepat banyak tindakan secara banyak membantu saya. Pertama sekali dari situ ada yang user pilih website. Dan Dalam itu pertama sudah membantu saya untuk bangkit semua mata-mata dan anak-anak yang perlu diajar. Dan yang kedua adalah cara menunjukkan satu platform, yaitu email mereka atau hubungi mereka sekiranya tak faham apa yang saya tanyakan, sekiranya ada soalan. Dan pihak aktif dan institusi telah menyediakan alat-alat untuk saya. Sangat bersyukur sebab saya dalam pakai alat dan memberi impak pada saya sebab bila saya pakai alat, saya tak dapat dengan jelas apa yang saya sampaikan. Tapi sampai institusi memberi saya peluang untuk dapatkan alat-alat. Saya pasal di Universiti sekarang, saya tak perlu lagi meletakkan diri saya dekat dengan cara untuk dengar apa yang guru mereka sampaikan. Sekarang saya jauh saja sudah boleh dengar dengan baik. Menjadikan universiti lebih inklusif adalah dengan memperkenalkan dari kecil laluan berjalan untuk mereka yang bermasalah penglihatan dan berfungsi roda untuk mereka memudahkan mereka jalan dengan baik. Ya, bermakna universiti perlu sediakan satu laluan khas bagi mereka untuk mudah jalan pergi contohnya pergi ke public belajar dan sebagainya. Nombor dua adalah menyediakan atau memperbaiki sistem belajar dengan lebih boleh berfungsi dan dapat didengar dengan lebih baik. Nombor tiga adalah bagi saya setiap institusi perlu wujudkan satu pertubuhan ataupun persatuan bagi orang itu untuk kita mengetahui apa masalah yang mereka hadapi dan institusi perlu mengambil berat untuk menyelesaikan masalah-masalah yang dihadapi oleh pelajar pekerja di institusi dan memberi mereka peluang yang sesuai dengan seorang pelajar bagi pekerja dan kemudahan pekerja bagi mereka yang memerlukan. Itu saja dari saya. Terima kasih.
Okay, so this is one way to make it iOER when we have subtitles in multiple languages depending on our audience. Oops, sorry. So this one is now sharing on the iOER video recording. All right. So so you saw the product. So how did I do it? So here I have the closed captions. Here, this one is automatically generated by YouTube, and all this is done in Canva. So this is how we actually the background work. You know, you see the product, but the process is to get this point is to a bit of hard work. Yeah, the closed captions were automatically created by YouTube, but it's not enough. We need this one. And besides that, if you notice when she talks, it's not very clear. Okay, because remember that she had a hearing impairment. Anytime a child has hearing impairment, when they go out into the world, if they didn't wear the hearing aid early enough, when they pronounce the words, it's not clear enough. So she doesn't pronounce clearly enough. So that's why it needs to be in 2 languages here. Without this earlier, I think all of you also cannot understand what she's saying. It will take time for you. You have to rewind, and then try to figure out. Okay, so as I mentioned earlier, the iOER process to reach this point of understanding require a lot of scaffolding on the part of Professor Diane Chambers, who's now in Japan. So I like to share with you that actually when we talk about learners, right, we have to understand that, okay, learning is a capacity. It's a capacity, is a gift. And the ability to learn is a skill. The willingness to learn is a choice. So when our students come in, they come in with very, very different kind of ability. Whether you're talking about cognitive, physical, or culturally, linguistically, they're all different. But the willingness to learn is a choice. That's why we go back to the UDL. Why? Why are they learning what they're learning? Why they're in university? We go back to all the basic, these are all the foundational questions we should be asking them. All right. So the bigger picture of inclusive teaching and learning before I end is to share with you that actually at the face-to-face level, we need to already embrace the inclusive DNA in teaching and learning. So through inclusive pedagogy, we can make a difference in the lives of the students every single time we meet them. So we had in recent years one particular student. He looks completely physically normal, typical, until one day we found out. I think we got the information from our program coordinator that he can only see with one eye. So I had to build a very inclusive environment for him, right? As somebody with the background in special education. So I asked myself, how can I make sure his classmates will accept him? And for him to also be brave enough to tell them his condition, so that when they are in group work and all that, doing group work, they will be more cognizant of his needs. So I asked him, are you okay, Amirul, to share with all your classmates about your condition? So he came forward. He was a bit shy at first, and then he shared with them his learning issues. He doesn't have a learning issue. It's just that physically he cannot see clearly. So we gave him for his exam font size 20 A3 on an A3 paper. So he shared with his classmates and they get along very well. So as an iOER practitioner, I must say that we have to go beyond the material. It is actually at the environmental level, how we do the inclusion. So here I'm just sharing with you our discussion with our core lecturers that we are doing team teaching. We are talking about how we can give Amirul a set so that it will be in the right font size for him, how we can get it printed. So all this behind the scenes kind of work, to make sure that the student will thrive and flourish and succeed. We also had one student in the first semester, one student from Qatar. And I asked them to take out a piece of paper and just write a few things. I tell them, write your name, blah, 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 and then tell me something unique about yourself. So she said that she was having ADHD. So from here, right, we can begin to be very sensitive to their needs. Always asking, hello, how are you? Are you doing well? Are you catching up? Are you having any other issues? Right? So this is beyond iOER. Okay. So I would still like to acknowledge, although the coaching program is already over, I still want to thank them for holding our hand and then teaching us step by step how to do iOER. And today I would like to thank AP Dr. Doria, UTHM, MEIPTA, for inviting me to share this first series of your webinar. Thank you very much.
All right, so thank you very much, Dr. Julia, for your sharing session. I think it's very meaningful because you have shared the real case scenarios happen in UNIMAS, and then I think it's a good start for us to know what is iOER about, and then I think it opens up some of our participants, I bet, for us to change maybe. Not all, but perhaps we can take a step for us to change or contribute to build up some of the iOER content, in the future. And also, I guess, please, to all the participants, we can get maybe 1 or 2 questions from the participants. You can also directly ask our panelists, Dr. Julia, and also TS Erny. I think they are very much helpful. At least, how to start, and then is it okay for us to use existing materials? Yeah. And then, at least we can put a start. I know it's very difficult, but very challenging. But once you put the ball rolling, I think, then I think the motivations will be there. Right, so if there is any questions, everyone can post up some questions. Yep. Is there any questions? Because in UTHM itself, we also have, I think, one student actually got an accident during the semester, during the years of study. And then actually we put out and then try to help him because I think he actually suffer from visual impact and couldn't see. So we actually tried to provide those equipments that can actually help him to run, especially during the exams. And these are actually some of the unplanned incidents happen, but I think we need to provide those support for the students, right? Yeah. Is there any questions coming from our friends here? You can also, can ask any questions in regards of the OER first or also iOER. Any questions coming from the participants? I think as compared to the content, yeah, we need to provide websites and also videos. What is it the most easiest way for us to start off to have a kickstart to develop the iOER? Is it like the slides that we have, or the video that we have, or the website? Which one is, I think, the most easiest way to do the iOER?
For me, I would say that our PowerPoint slide is like part of our bread and butter for our kerja hakiki, is to prepare good materials. So our PowerPoint slides are the ones that we should consider very carefully, how we can make it into bite-sized PowerPoint slides, and then all the tiny little details I showed earlier is all planning. It's all about planning what kind of images. Maybe some images are no longer important. We need to localize the images. And yeah, I would say start with the PowerPoint slides, and then if we have time, we can go into materials. And because I think at the undergraduate level, our students can still survive on our PowerPoint slides unless they start going to a final year project. They have to start reading. But you'll be surprised. No, Balkis, just now the student, right? She's very hardworking. Sometimes I told the other students, I said, you guys have everything, right? And then the one who cannot hear properly, she's the one who is submitting her thesis. She's the one who wants to meet me. And then, so how about the rest of you? So a lot of the times we have to go back to a lot of other psychological issues like resilience. And, there are fighters. There are fighters. In order to get into uni, there are fighters already. So I think the reading that is needed at the undergraduate level, it gets more for FYP. So like we the one with visual impairment, last time I realized she has to do triple the work, meaning that I pre-recorded all my PowerPoint slides. She would listen to it before class. She translate it to Braille, and then she do her revision in Braille, and then she's still a 4.0.
Oh, alhamdulillah. Very good. Yeah, because it's triple and triple effort, and then actually she can memorize at the same time.
Yeah, she's working harder. That means I have to prepare the materials. Everything must be ready in our online system. We call it eLib. So everything uploaded. So she's the one, I know for sure she will read the notes first, but the rest I don't know, because the rest might just on the fly as I do the lecture, they follow. But she already did her homework. That means she already did triple the work. She listened, she converted to Braille, she did her revision, and then so she did 3 times already before the actual lecture. That's why at the end of the day, I'm also not surprised that, well, she's a 4.0. I'm not surprised that she already worked very hard. So in a way, I would say, yeah, we still go back to the main content that they need, which is PowerPoint slides. Our website, I think eLib so far is useful. Actually, our online system in any university is very helpful. because they can take their time to read. And then the most important thing is they also need to know how to use certain tools. So for example, like that student with visual impairment, she can never sign in to class because she cannot see, right? We have the QR code, cannot sign in. So she has certain things that she has. She has screen reader, she has got the gadgets to help her. When she cannot sign in, then she will tell me. I know why she doesn't sign in. So there's a lot of, I would say at the human level, we also do a lot of penyelarasan lah. Kita juga tolong dia lah on the side. It's not just the iOER materials, but we need to know the context of their difficulty so that we can understand. For example, like Balkis, last time I used to just walk with her to back from CTF, Central Teaching Facility, walk back with her to the main faculty. I just talk to her face to face. She can see my mouth, my pergerakan mulut, and then help her catch up on lecture. That's when I realized that even when I show her videos for the big class kan, kita suka tunjuk video kan dalam bentuk YouTube. Can you imagine? She didn't understand a single thing because at that time her hearing aid already broken. So our TD HEPA yang tolong cari duit lah untuk beli hearing aid because B40 family. So there's a lot of, aside from the iOER, we're concerned about the notes. A lot of things, faktor lain tu multifactorial punya benda. If they don't have the hearing aid, they cannot follow the class. So kita shot sendiri tunjuk YouTube video lah di depan dan sebagainya kan. Kita memenuhi apa our target for the day. Tapi ada 1-2% yang tak ikut langsung. Ya, itulah masalahnya. So that's why we still go to the human level, talk to them and find out.
Sure.
What do you need?
Sorry to interject. We have one question actually from the participants. I think it's from Professor Dr. Cordelia Mason. Does UNIMAS has stated policy on inclusive iOER? Also, the questions also meant for TS Erny as well. If in case UiTM also have the policy or etc. Yeah.
We have a policy on inclusion already. Actually, our Deputy Vice Chancellor, before he came the Vice Chancellor, and currently we have Prof. Fitri as our VC for So we have already drafted. What they did was they got all of us lecturers into one very big room several times, and we all brainstorm about inclusion, from the physical inclusion until the college inclusion. So our students with OKU needs are staying at one college. There's one college here that is just for them. And then we also have buddies for them. We also have study buddies. This study buddy will do more than a study job. You know, for example, they go around with them and then be their friend, because sometimes they can be very lonely. They're very lonely because it's hard to express, especially the one with mutism, the one she's graduating. She's mute. She was born premature. See, so she was mute. She's mute, deaf, completely deaf, partially can see a little bit. So she didn't tell anybody on campus. So all the group members, I always ask the group members, always tell me she's very quiet because they don't know what is the problem. See, so the inclusion policy that we have actually takes care of many layers of needs of the students. And then we also have special WhatsApp groups for the student itself. So sometimes we have so many WhatsApp group, one WhatsApp group for many lecturers for that one student. Yes. And then just talking about that particular student. And then so the TD HEPA is always in the loop, because we are also very concerned that, for example, the one who was born premature, can you imagine she walked from her college to lecture hall? She fell down and she broke her glasses. She went to PKU. At that time, I was her academic mentor. I told her, I think you can extend your study. She told me, no, I want to finish on GOT and I want to pursue my master's. And then that's when I realized that they are very determined. But the underlying story I'm trying to share is that what we are talking about here today, iOER or no iOER, at the human level, yes, we need to policy, yes, but also then the policy has to have got legs and feet to work, you see. Yeah.
All right. So how about UiTM?
Okay.
Do you have any policies or procedures for the executions of inclusion environment in the public university?
Yes, yes. So in UiTM also we got this what we call as policy pengajian inklusif untuk pelajar berkebutuhan khusus dan kurang terwakili. So yeah, so that is the policy that we use, okay, to guide, okay, the students with disabilities. So this one is actually there's one unit, okay, which is we call as unit what we call this UPO unit, saya lupa dia punya ni, bahagian perkhidmatan dan pembangunan UiTM. Okay, so this we have this unit that will take care of this group of students. It's not only the students lah, it's actually we take care to the staff as well. Okay, not only in terms of their learning and their learning, okay, but then as well as their what you call that needs, okay, while they are studying in UiTM. So in fact, it's not only for those students with visual, okay, and then with their hearing disabilities, but then we also cater for students with mental illness. Okay, we do have some kind of what you call that discussions, okay, and then with the faculties, okay, on how to deal, okay, like what there's Associate Professor Dr. Julia said, okay, so they have a very what I call that strong determine okay, to study and then to excel, okay, in their study. So definitely we support, okay, this kind of students. In fact, during the lockdown, okay, back in 2020, okay, so we come up with this online policy for this inclusive group of students, okay, specifically targeted for all groups of disability. So that it can be a guideline for the lecturers, okay, on how to deal with this group of students, okay, when they are in the online situation. So to that extent, yes, we do have the policy that to cater this inclusive group of students and also the staff.
Yeah. All right. So thank you very much for a quick feedback coming from the panelists. Is there any questions before we end the session today? All right. So I guess we have no more questions coming from the panel, but I would like to wrap up on what are actually the key points has been highlighted by our panelists. The first panelist, TS Erny Arniza, she actually highlighted on how we need and also must intentionally design and structure and also scale up the inclusive open educational resources. And also not just like any great engineering feat, but also iOER requires precision, sustainability, and also a solid foundation to ensure high quality learning materials that are actually accessible to every student everywhere and also without barriers. And also the information that actually shared on iOER, shared by Associate Professor Dr. Julia Lee Cheng, is actually tackling us on how we need to open up the black box to look closely on how iOER impacts diversity in higher education. She also has shared real case scenarios in UNIMAS. Thank you for that. iOER gives us not only the unique power to tell the content, but also respects diverse cultural backgrounds, learning abilities, and also social economic realities, which making the higher education a genuinely level playing field. Okay, so to that, we as the organizer of the MEIPTA webinar series 1 would like to actually give one strong message, a challenge to all of the participants today, where I think every one of us need to have at least come out with the at least OER or the iOER content, not just being a consumers of OER, but also we also need to become an active architects of our own OER content, contribute your expertise, share your unique learning materials, collaborate across institutions as well, and also by actively developing and sharing open resources to others. Yeah, together we can build perhaps a collective resources which uplifts the next generations of our learners. All right, so thank you very much to our dedicated panelists. Thank you, TS Erny, and also ISO Professor Dr. Julia. And thank you to all of the participants who actually being very committed, and also for us to be together to contribute to develop the OER content for the future, and also have a very good day, everyone, till we meet again on our next MEIPTA webinar series. Thank you, terima kasih, and I hope all of you are in a good health, and we meet up on the next session. All right. So thank you very much also to Dr. Hafiz. Thank you for being around. I think lots of things that we have discussed, and it's a new opening session especially for the iOER. Thank you very much, everyone.
Thank you.
Can we take a picture for the last session? Yeah. So everyone needs to switch on your camera. Very interesting.
Thanks TS Erny, thanks also IP Dr. Julia.
Okay, so is everyone ready? All right, so we have our technical team to take the picture. Okay, smile. We take a formal one first, yeah? Okay, 1, 2, 3. Again, 1, 2, 3. Okay, thumbs up, everyone. Okay, 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. All right, so thank you. Thank you very much. Actually, they requested for the slides. We will make the sessions available on the YouTube, and also plus with the inshallah with the slides. All right. So thank you very much. Till we meet again. Take care, everyone. Assalamualaikum.
Thank you, Dr. Hafiz. Thank you, Dr. Julia.
Take care, everyone. Have a nice
Inshallah.
weekend.
Assalamualaikum.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Thank you.